I'll go back to my bench. A leg crawl stretch is just this basic old stretch. Sitting at your desk, you go to cross your leg, right? That's a leg crawl stretch. Now, in this is ideal that the knee is actually nice and level with the foot. To be honest, most people are here with this, right? And that's fine. And okay, most people are here with this, and that's fine because that shows you exactly where you're at. You want that leg to just drop down and relax. Now it won't when all of this in here is tight. Same thing. You go to the other side, right? It's pretty much the same. I feel a little more tension, a little more. Pay attention to the balance because I would give this leg a little more work. Okay. So now that's not the stretch, but this is. So we cross it up and we lay into it. This is actually the rest of the stretch, I should say. So put the leg in position, upright with the back. We don't want to round out. We want to keep our body upright, nice straight spine. We want to push into it, keeping the chest forward, sort of aiming with your chest. First thing it's going to touch is going to be the lower portion of your abs to the really upper portion of the thigh. Because we're not going to do this, right? You might feel that, and if that's what you have, then what you really need to know is how tight you are in the glute area and the low back. And that's definitely affecting your, I won't get into it right now, but it's definitely affecting your power a little more than a great deal more than what you realize. So last time, once again, level with the knees best we can. Keep your body upright, push into it, get down, let's flatten it out, or go as far as you can. If this is as far as you can go, fine. Just keep this thing down. So if it's way up here, you gotta put a little bit of pressure there and just hold it, but don't force it to go flat. It's not gonna go flat overnight for most people. Same thing on this side. Let's get it in position, put some pressure on it, body upright, take it in, stretch it out. Now, I feel a little more tension on this side, which means what? I would do this side twice. So I go as far as I can, take a deep breath. Like with everything else, blow the air out of the tummy, out of the diaphragm. And you'll see your body will sink down in there. And that's what you're looking to do, is get that stretch. Come on out. That's good to go. Okay, now that's the simplest version. A little more intermediate, a little more advanced. Come over here and do that. This has a block on it. Just got to point that out real quick. And the reason why that's important is because I need to raise it up. Why? Because I'm a little too short to do this. Or, well, put it this way. Most people would be at my height, would not be able to do this properly. So I'll show you both ways. But check it out. Put the leg up. Get the knee on. Okay, so now you can see very similar to that over here, but now by this leg being straight, I'll show you this side. Now by this leg being fully lengthened, all of this right here is being stretched as well as the glute. Okay, so now I'm getting double. So as I go into it with that same posture, I feel it in both places, but mainly on this left glute right here, mainly on the left glute. Back is flat, taking it all the way down. All right, and if I want to make that little more challenging, I can bring this foot back, keep the heel on. Keep the leg on. Stretch the calf back. Now I got a mean stretch going on right here, and I can go back in and really get to the meat of it. Same thing on this side. Let's go in, up. Leg back, body upright. Let's get that good posture first. Stretch that calf, stretch that leg. Really keep the back nice and straight. Pull yourself in. And once you get to a point where you can really go all the way in, you want to go all the way in and just really be able to relax. So you can tell that I'm not strained at this point, but it gets kind of tough. All right, used to be really tough. All right, so that's about it. And I'm going to show the rest of that. Okay, hip flexor. Okay, now this one is big time because there's two different ways we can do it. Let me show you. Basic hip flexor. Boom. Notice where my foot is. Your foot is not here. I don't have any stability. Put the leg out, put the foot out there, right? Because you don't want to worry about balance. That's why I'm holding this here, because I'm not working on stability. I'm working on mobility, flexibility, not stability. So I want it to be stable, because when people do this, the hip is usually back, right? So notice this hip is further back than this hip. That's not what we want. I want to twist and actually hold, like if I were to send a rod through this hip, it'd come right out on the other side and if I rotate it, you would see it. So we need it to be boom, just like this, okay? Shoulders back, body upright. I want this hip over the knee, right? So I'm gonna go forward into it a little bit, but I'm not gonna do this old deal here. That is a stretch that we can do. We're not doing that right now. I want you upright. I want this glute engaged, tight. Look at the difference. Relax, tight, relax, tight. We need activation. So activate the glute. It's gonna stretch this muscle because when the glute shortens, we said this muscle lengthens. So you're going to train the relationship between these muscles while you're stretching. So contract the glute, you'll feel the tension, but hold the contraction. Even though you feel the tension, you need to control that. So body upright, boom, boom, lean forward just a little bit. Now I'm not overdoing it. My abs are tucked and tight, but I am pushing the hip forward. The body is designed to have be able to do that, okay? All right, so I go from there, switch it right to the other side. Same thing, heel up, foot is right in the middle of my glutes. Very important, right? Not here, but here. Body upright, same thing. Tighten my abs, squeeze the glute. Get that stretch on, push into it. Kneeling hip flexor stretch is for the hip, right? All right, it's for the hip, right? So what we want to do now is incorporate the quadricep, okay? So now this next stretch incorporates the quad. Now, first thing you want to do actually is place the foot back here, get the knee down to the mat, and you can see this is going to stretch this and my hip. Now I happen to be able to do this. A lot of people can't actually do this just like this because the goal is, notice, my knee is directly under my hip. Most of the time in this stretch right here, your knee is going to be way up here. Your hips, you might be back here saying, hey coach, look, I got my butt touching my heel. But if your knee is not back under the hip, right? And close to being under, like if I slide the bench up, you see what I mean? Okay, so now you see what I'm talking about. So that is where it's at right there. Body upright. Now I'm tightening the glute, and that's really intensely stretching my hip flexor and the quad at the same time, and they both need that synergy to do this together, okay? So of course, I would do that both sides, but for the purpose of time, we're gonna keep it moving. Now I'll tell you this first. If what you just did was really tough, then you're probably gonna have to go to doing this quad stretch. Knees together, heel to butt. Now, once again, I'm not working on balance, so I'll hold something, body upright. Now I'm squeezing this glute, and it's really stretching this thigh. So you can do this one, right? Do it both sides, right? And you can do this one here. Get that foot up front. First thing you want to do actually is place the foot back here. Okay, all right, so the last thing I'm going to show you how to do is work the hamstring, okay? So I'm going to show you 3 different things real quick because first thing, real simple, if you're actually at the track and you just basically got to go in, you don't have a whole lot of time, you're just going to cross your legs like this. You've seen a basic reach and stretch. Okay, so in order to get the most out of that concept, we want to cross the legs, right? And slightly bend the leg in the back. We don't push it back and lock it out. We slightly bend it, but we keep the body upright. Well, we keep the torso nice and rigid and straight. Okay, everything's tight, and we flex at the hip, meaning don't round. Try your best to flex at the hip. This might be tough. You might find that you're stuck rounding, and I'll work with that. You just let me know if that's happening. All right, so keep the back nice and flat. Take it down. Now I feel this right about there. Okay, now there's some really cool things you can do from this point to really make them hams release. Not gonna go there yet. Don't worry, I'll have other opportunity to share that with you. But this is basically what you're doing. If you can go a little lower, take it a little lower. That's about me right there, right? And we go to the other side. Same thing, keep that leg back, not locked out, but I have it back. Keep my body nice and straight. Let's go this direction. Right? Take it down, nice and flat. And these are pretty equal in tension. Okay, so now, if things are all good, let's go here next. This one here, actually, believe it or not, takes a little more skill. You wouldn't know it by looking at it, but it does. It's just a basic half bent knee, right? Stance, and you're basically doing a toe reach again, but you're with your foot on the bench, raising the leg up a little bit, slightly bend the knee, and as you go in, if you can not round out and be sensitive about keeping the hip right here, meaning you don't want the hip to go back. You actually want the hip to stay where it is, and you want to stretch over it. You see, if I did this and brought the hip back, then that would kind of be a cheat. So I want the hip to remain right where it is, slightly bend. Now I feel this already right here. And now, with a flat back, I can use gravity to pull me into it and just relax, take a breath. And remember, just like the trigger point, if I hang out here for a good 15 seconds, it actually loosens up. So I'll go another inch, and I'll do the same thing. Take another breather, right? 15 seconds later, I'm good. Swap them out. Here's what it looks like from this side. Get a nice stable position. Slight bend in the knee. Back is flat because I don't go in like this. I go in upright, thinking like a gymnast. I want that good posture. Take it in. All right, so now I feel this one a little earlier. Okay, that says this side is a little shorter. So what would I do? I would actually take a break and I double up and I do that side. Now, ultimately,